Getting started with Ollama. Go to Ollama.com. You can start building open models. So if you want to move away from OpenAI building issues and use your own hardware, go to Ollama.com, download Ollama. Depending on the version of your operating system, you pull the model by installing it, Llama run Ollama 3.1 in this instance, and you update your Python code if you're building a AI agent, for example. Replace OpenAI with Ollama. So you start building your models. First, you want to download it. You click download. There's different ways you can download it. And once it is downloaded, you'll see there's a Llama setup file, and it's in the region of 1.5 gig. You install it, let it run, and then you get this interface. So now you can interact with Llama. You can select your models, but before you do, it asks you to create an account. It's quite straightforward. You sign up, connect the device connected successfully. Now you have your own account. And in this instance, there's nothing yet created. You can view the docs if you feel like viewing the docs. So now you can go ahead. With a model selected, you can ask a question like, hello, what are you? It will give you a response based on the model you have selected. You can select a different model, DeepSeek. You'll see there's a download option. So when you want to use that and it first needs to download, it will download. In this instance, 4.9 gig. Let it download. It will give you a response. So before Llama, let's say you were using ChatGPT or OpenAI to build a simple AI agent. You had to get a key. You create your application. You connect Chat OpenAI. Then you would get something like this. You exceeded your current quota. Check your plan and billing details. Insufficient quota. Means you ran out of credits. Using Llama, you don't need credits anymore. You can test, build as much as you want. Just make sure it's installed. All right. If you see these things, your username being your personal username where you installed a Llama, you know it's installed. Before you continue building your Llama AI agent, close any open VS Code Windows IDE windows beforehand. Then you start with Llama run Llama 3.1 or whatever model you use at that point in time. You let it install. Llama 3.1 is 4.9 gigs. And then you can ask it questions. Are you alive? It says, no, I don't have a conscience. All right, so once it's finished downloading, your local server is ready. Now, when you're building a simple AI agent, you type pip install LangChain or Llama. Depending on the tool you're using, we're using LangChain. Successfully install LangChain. So now when you want to use that, you go to your Python program, for example, and type from LangChain _ Llama import chat Llama. That's how you reference it within the code. Once it initializes, you're ready to go. Let's do a demo. All right, so in this demo, let's create a basic Llama AI agent. Right, that's the Python version I'm using. So let's install a Llama. All right, let that run. As you can see, it's already installed. So there's nothing further for me to do. So I'll just Control and D. And then we want to make sure that LangChain and Llama is installed as we're using that tool in this example. All right. Once it's done installing, now we can start building the application. we carrying on, installing the tools. And then we need the brain. So see LangChain as the hands and LangGraph as the brain of the AI agent. All right, so that's the three things we need. All right, so let's create the hands, the tool. So LangChain has the built-in tools and is basically telling LangGraph, hey, be aware of this. The add tool is telling it, you will be aware of this with the add tool. So we're going to create a really basic thing just to get the message across. We're going to add 2 integers. And return an integer. So this is telling the brain, the large language model, what to do with this tool, which is, like I've mentioned, the function, the definition, right? Yeah, let's make it nice and pretty. And then you return the calculation. So now you have a basic tool. Right, so let's reference the large language model. And like demonstrated in the presentation, let's reference Llama. Temperature says with 0, because we're doing calculations, do not be creative. Just stick to logic and reasoning. So the higher the temperature, the greater the chance for creativity in its thinking, so to say. And then we're combining the large language model with the tools. In this instance, we created one tool. So we defined the tool. We loaded the brain. Here's the tool. Loaded the brain and use create agent. All right. When you use create agent, LangGraph injects a highly optimized standardized prompt in the background. So it essentially tells the large language model you have access to the tools. All right. So it follows a loop. It thinks, reason about the task. It takes action, which is calling the tool, and it observes the result. Basically, read the result and repeat in this loop, as I mentioned, until it's done. So we want to create the prompt capability. So let's say you want to compute and we can say type quit to exit. So let's create a loop so that the end user can communicate more than just one prompt. Let's just say this is prompt. All right, and then we have if I haven't quitted as yet. So if they do quit, we want to exit. we can do something like that. And then we want to break out of the loop, or it will just be an endless loop. And then we can try. All right, so pass the user's custom input to the agent. So now we're passing it to the agent. Dot invoke. All right, we are nearly done. And then we can print something as what the agent done. It returns the response from the large language model. All right, that's by having messages and return the last message, because these large language models, they have a process of thinking, reasoning, and then they take the action, and then there's a whole trail. If you have seen how they do things, there's this whole trail of processing happening in the background. And then the last message, which is -1, that's the actual answer, so to say, or the feedback. And we just want that. That's why this message is -1 and the content is the actual response. And this is a catch exception. So if something goes wrong that we didn't cater for, let's just say there's an error, and then we can print the error for now. Okay, so that's about it. 27 lines. Without the blanks, it's even less. All right, so we're going to test it now. All right, from LangChain cannot import. All right, it's not tools, but it's tool. Let's have a look. All right, so let's see. Let's ask a basic question. All right, so the large language model is operational. So let's see if the brain is connecting to the hands. And that's the answer. Let's make sure that, and 10 multiply by 30. All right, and if you want to go bonkers, should give you an error, right? So with a few lines of code, you can build a simple AI agent that talks with the large language model and the tool interacting together.